Bless the people with the positivity. I know the ancestors smiling on me. Conscious of the way I spread my energy. I know the ancestors smiling on me. Lead with love, represent peace. I know the ancestors smiling on me. Even on my downfalls and my faults, I know the ancestors counting on me to shine like a galaxy, shine like a galaxy. Through all the darkness, darkness, through all the darkness, darkness. Couldn't keep me from my destiny. They keep telling me, represent light, represent life. Represent light, represent life. And this what I invite.
I invite ease and joy.
And if you can catch that phrase, you can sing along.
I invite ease and joy.
Joy. One more time, sing it along.
I invite ease and joy. I invite ease and joy.
Say what you feel, do what you want, as long as it's real. Do it with love, do it with heart, what it reveal. You are king, you are queen, God is in all. God is in all. God is in all. Say what you feel, do what you love, long as it's real. Do it with love, do it with heart, what it reveal. You are king, you are queen, God is in all. God is in all.
I invite ease and joy. I invite ease and joy. Let us invite ease and joy. Let us invite that power within to move our hearts and our minds to be present right now. In the presence of God, in the presence of humanity, in the presence of love. So I know that that one life that we call God is ease and joy. I know that for myself, and I know that for you. And as we move into this service, our time together of celebration, I know that our hearts are already lifted with ease and joy. I know that we are releasing whatever we brought here with ease and joy. I know that this service moves with ease and joy. So I bless our music. I bless those who are in service today. I bless Reverend Dereca as she brings the message, knowing that she does it with ease and joy. And I bless you for your presence, your power and presence that you bring today with ease and joy. So I give thanks for all, knowing that God is in the midst of it, and we move through it this time with ease and joy. And what a great feeling that is to know that we have the choice to move with ease and joy. So I release my word now, knowing that it's complete in the mind of God. And I invite you to join me by saying Ashe, Amen, and so it is. Thank you. So welcome, welcome, welcome to our Sunday service, the last Sunday of February in this wonderful leap year. I discovered that today. This is a leap year month because my birthday's on the 1st and it's pushed out a day. So, well, how did that happen? So I invite you to just be present with us, be present with one another, embrace the love in this room with ease and joy. My name is Arlene King, and I'm privileged to be the pulpit assistant here today. So if you're with us for the first time, I invite you to stand so we can recognize you with love and thanksgiving and gratitude. Yes, yes, yes. You'll be receiving. Remain standing. We'll give a gift to you and extend our hands in love. Welcome home.
Welcome home.
We see you. We appreciate you as a light of God.
We appreciate you as a light of God.
Our service is complete that you're here.
Our service is complete that you're here.
We love you.
We love you.
We thank God for you.
We thank God for you.
And so it is.
And so it is.
There's a certificate in the packet that you're receiving if you kindly complete that for us. And meet us in the bookstore, and we have a special gift for you there. And dare I not forget our virtual community. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, we appreciate and love you. And if you're with us for the first time or just want to drop in your name, let us know who you are and where you're calling from, where you're serving from, and we appreciate that. Moving forward, for those who are in the room, if you want to connect with us, just use this QR code. You can fill in your information, and we'll capture that digitally through the church. I invite Dr. Cynthia to come up now. Today and this month through the middle of April is the season for peace and nonviolence. Dr. Cynthia will share our daily affirmation. And could we do it in call and response?
Call and response.
Yes, if you would stand, please.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome. So call and response for affirmation. Today, I understand that holding others in esteem as human beings. Today, I understand that holding others in esteem as human beings is separate and distinct from liking or approving of their actions. In fact, feeling worthy may be the missing precursor. Feeling worthy may be the missing precursor to a person behaving in more estimable ways. Today's principle is respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cynthia. As always, there's a lot going on at East Bay, so I'd like to share a few announcements with you so that you are up to date what's going on and figure out where you can participate in all this fun. Today is Rare Red Day. It's actually, I call it Love Your Heart Day because our health and wellness is offering this wonderful opportunity for you to get your blood pressure checked. Many of us kind of scoot by that or don't think about it, but this is the time for you to do it. I know for us at this East Bay, we've had several people have revelations around their blood pressure, and we were able to get them in a place to be taken care of. So the blood pressure screening is down the hallway. When you leave and exit the church, just go straight down, and there'll be people there to take your blood pressure. Wednesday night power hour. Our very own Reverend Anthony is leading the Wednesday night power hour this Wednesday service that starts at 6:15. Reverend Anthony's right here in the front. You can raise your hand, Reverend Anthony, so that people who don't know you can see you. Next slide, please. This Saturday, March 2nd, is the Sacred Justice at East Bay. And we invite Chris to come up and talk about it.
Good Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. I just have so much gratitude. I just spent a week in LA training people from all over the state and how to do the social justice thing. And I take Ernest Holmes with me. And so I be preaching religious science and praying treatments. We had to pray through some trauma related to indigenous peoples this week. And I'm so grateful for this philosophy because it's changing my life and I'm able to see it change other people's lives. This Saturday, as was stated, we will be meeting here in the Fellowship Hall. If you didn't know what the Fellowship Hall is, right back there at 9:30. And how many of you guys know this is a voting year? This is a voting year. Yes, this year there will be an election. And so we will be looking at some of the things that may be on this year's ballot. And as an organization, we're going to decide what we want to endorse. And so this Saturday is your opportunity to be informed about what's going to be on the ballot and then give us your feedback so that we can take it back to our organization so that we can be on the same page, to be in unity about what we want to support as we continue to educate people about this upcoming election year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. I think we have, yes, that was Chris. We have the Women's Empowerment Ministry that meets on Saturday on Zoom. You can reach out to Practitioner Bliss. Her information's there, as well as online. And the next slide is a big slide. This next Sunday, a week from today, we will host our annual meeting for 2024, talking about 2023 and claiming more for 2024. Most of you members received a message with the RSVP. I would love it if you would RSVP. There's a question in there we want to hear from you in advance of the meeting, so check your email. Another message will go out tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Little nudges help a lot, so check your email for that email and RSVP back to the board so we know who's coming and answer any questions you may have. And I believe we're complete with announcements today, so I'll welcome Reverend Dereca to the pulpit.
Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. What a wonderful, whoa, fantastic day. So excited to be here. As has been said, my name is Reverend Dereca Blackmon. I use she and they gender pronouns, and I always like to tell you what my pronouns are because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. And if you were here last night for the Black History Month celebration, then you know we got a deep, deep education on what it is to be LGBTQ plus IA plus queer, all of the things. Last night for our Black History Month celebration, we had a specific focus on celebrating the achievements of queer folks in our world, but specifically at East Bay. And we had our own Peggy Moore, who is here as one of our speakers. My daughter, Nia Lungsfus, spoke. We had the children in the house. We had the young adults doing poetry and dance. And I don't know if Gabrielle is here today, but we cried. We cried. We cried at that beautiful voice that has been waiting. If you did not see Black History Month, you have to go online and watch it because it was absolutely incredible. We had Nico and Constance as our MC. We were in full East Bay effect, y'all. And if you are on the Black History Month team or any of y'all, they probably tired because they worked so. And we had good food, so you know how we do. So I'm very, very proud of our community. And so many people talked about the rarity of having a church that feels like a safe space to be Black, to be queer, period. And LGBTQ, if some folks still don't use queer, I roll around a bunch of young people, queer is the word. It's an umbrella term, as Nia said last night. And so I'm so proud of us. We got some history. Peggy told us that our building used to be a lesbian nightclub. And that folks was kind of upset about that when Reverend E said we was moving here. But what Peggy shared with us was that there were people in Oakland who said, wow, we going back to Ollie's. And it's going to be a sanctified space. So not only was it the space where queer folks felt safe in Oakland, now it's the space where they feel elevated. Not just included, but elevated. Do you understand the contributions? We gave out last night the Bayard Rustin Awards. Do you understand the level of elevation I'm talking about? And it was beautiful. So many people in our community got acknowledged. Peggy, Arlene, Boxanette, let's see, Robert Quintana Hopkins, and, Reverend Ona Afraid. It was so much good, I can't tell it all, like they say in the old days. But I'm just trying to tell you a little bit of it. And thank you, Reverend E, for the legacy of inclusion way back before it was popular, right? And she'll tell you, like so many of us, she had to work out her stuff in order to make it so, but you showed up as a community and said, we want to be a safe place. This is our place for all of us. And so I just love being here. It's so great. Another reason why I love being here is because we celebrate all of the breadth of our cultural and musical experience. We integrate, infuse, and include all of that, and there is no one I know who does that better than Kev Choice. I mean, this brother might pop out some classical, some jazz, he gonna rhyme, he gonna play, and he's always gonna bring young people and some of the most talented artists in the Bay. We were talking this morning, I said, Kev, you came with the whole squad. And he said, that's what I want to do. I want to have the full sound. I want to have all of who we are. I want to put folks on showcase. We got OSA students and alum, and Kev is doing that work on our Cultural Affairs Commission and so many places in the world. He just got back from Cuba. Like, he's doing it big. And so we love you. And he's ours, right? I mean, he's Oakland Center, but he's also ours. He came into this philosophy at East Bay. So without too much more preamble, I'm going to turn it back to the Kev Choice Ensemble.
I hope y'all feeling good. As you see, I'm in a vibration today, celebrating our culture, celebrating our history, celebrating joy. Happy Black Joy Day, as we say here in Oakland. I love how the brother brought up, that there's an election coming up. Me being a cultural affairs commissioner and being involved in political spaces, know how important it is to bring this philosophy and this energy into those spaces as well. I was honored to be a cultural strategist uplifting the city of Oakland's motto, which is love life, over the last year and a half. Going around stressing the importance of love. But sometimes, we have to call into the universe the type of leaders that we wanted in our society, in our communities. And this song was written about that, about what type of leaders and who are our leaders and What are their values? And as we become leaders, what are our values?
Take me to your leaders. Are they the best of your kind? What do they believe in? Are their souls divine, or are they guided by greed and power? What's their motivation? In your darkest hour, do you trust their words and guidance? How do they treat your sick and poor? Those you need to serve the most. Do they misuse their control for their own rewards? Oh, do they keep their word to you?
Their word to you.
Speak with dignity and truth.
Are they righteous in a time of crisis? Do you feel protected by them?
Take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Are they worthy? Are they worthy? Oh, take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Are they worthy? Are they worthy? Oh, take me to your leaders. Do they have a heart? Are they just and merciful towards all of mankind around the world? What is their philosophy on spreading peace and harmony? What have they done for property to provide for everyone in need? Do they follow principles? Integrity, equality for all, especially those suffering. That's what truly makes one great again. Take me to your leaders. Do they bring you joy and pain? Do they have the answers? Is it time to take them down? Oh, take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Take me to your leaders. Are they worthy? Are they worthy? Oh, take me
all worthy, right? When we lead with love,
Hey,
when we coming with love. You look so good in your red, You look so good in that red, that means love, love. Let me hear you say love, love. Repeat after me, here you go.
love, love,
All the people in the place say,
love, love,
if you feeling that grace, then say,
love, love,
invited into the space, just say,
love, love,
all the way up in space, just spread.
love, love,
All the way into town, we spread.
love, love.
And this is how it go down because
Falling, falling for the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love?
can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? Come on, come on.
Fallingly, we risk it all.
Risk it all.
Tell me, can you feel the love?
Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love?
I know,
Say, come on.
okay. Falling for the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? This is how we do it.
Willingly, we risk it all.
Risk it all.
Tell me, can you feel the
Feel the love.
love?
Can you? Because I know what. Hey yo.
I know one day we gon' make it. I know one day we gon' have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for.
If you fight, put your fist up. Come on.
They can't take
We that
this
type of
from
church,
us.
right? We stand up. They can't take this love from us.
It's deeper than they know.
Come on.
Yes, it's deeper than
You
they
know why?
know.
Because my soul has no limitations. My life is priceless. That's you. That's you. And my faith is endless. What? And I believe in truth. Do you believe in truth? Come on. As long as justice escapes us, we live for the struggle. For all my people, y'all. Hey yo.
We keep holding on.
Hey yo.
We keep
Let me
pushing
tell you
on.
something. Hey, did you realize you're beautiful and important? And you deserve the best that life has to present. Every moment's intense, hard enough paying the rent. Trying to stay above cement and not doing a stint. Look at the percent of my brothers they sent to serve time. Around the world, the governments is doing worse crimes. They setting traps to catch felons for a third time. It's no jobs, no justice, what's the frame of mind? Nothing to lose, ain't afraid to die. Never shown our worth or how to express the hurt inside. Every homicide I see reported, feel like a portion of myself departed. Could it have been avoided? It's more guns out here than countries that it's wars in. We need conflict resolution in the school courses. Tired of selling for the short end, but one candle can defy the darkness, yo. One candle can defy the darkness, that's your light. One candle can defy the darkness, you shine bright. One candle can defy the darkness, cause I feel the love because we falling. Come on, hey yo.
Falling, falling for the thrill.
Come on, y'all.
Tell me, can
Keep
you
your hands
feel the
back.
love?
Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? Feel the love, hey.
Willingly, we risk it all. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Feel the love.
Falling, falling for the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Feel the love. Feel the love.
Willingly, we risk it all. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Tell them something. I sacrificed for this purpose. No one understood that I was born for this purpose. And y'all gave my life meaning. Even when I had nothing, you made me feel worthy. You stood right beside me like strength and righteousness, the consciousness that guides me. We keep holding on. Reverend E, yo, we keep pushing on. I love you, And you forgave all my faults, all possibilities, and all of my failures. Ever so patient, knew my potential was worth every moment. Hey, you believed in me when they doubted. Gave me relentless strength to exceed all the expectations. Yo, we keep holding on. How many of you know that story? That's right. Come on, everybody, hands up. Hey, yo.
I know one day we gon' make it. I know one day we gon' have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for.
Hey, come on.
They can't take this love from us.
No.
They can't take this love from us. It's deeper than we know. Yes, it's deeper than we
Hey, yo,
know.
Io, what you playing for? Come on.
Falling, falling.
Hey, yo, drums and sax, break it down, drums and sax. a little bass now. Give me a little bass now. Come on. Y'all give it up for Ayo on the saxophone, y'all.
I know one day we gon' make it. I know one day we gon' have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for. Hey! They can't take this love from us. They can't take this love from us. It's deeper than they know. Yes, it's deeper than they know.
Break it down one time. We're gonna show you the new verse.
Hey.
My sis Jen told me this one.
Hey.
We had to change that word fighting for into what we living for. She's like, we ain't gotta be fighting, Kev. This is what you're just living for. So we're gonna say it one more time. We're gonna replace fighting with living.
Yeah.
It's like this. Hey, yo. I know one day we gon' make it. I know one day we gon' have just what we're living for.
Hey.
Just what we've been living for. That's what we living for. They can't take this love from us.
Hey.
They can't take this love from us. It's deeper than they know. This is deeper than they know. You got me falling down. I love y'all. Y'all give it up one time for the band. Dane Drummer on the drums. Gerald Williams on the bass. Ayo Brame on the saxophone, 16 years old, represent Oakland School for the Arts. The amazing B. DeVoe on vocals. Give it up for B. DeVoe. Woo! So much love. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I say give thanks.
You better give it up for Kev Choice Ensemble. Ayo, come over here. Come on over here. I mean, Red, can you feel the love? We was in here, right? I had to take a moment to acknowledge Ayo, who is back with us for the second time. We love you, brother, and therefore, we are going to support you on March 2nd, Thursday, March 2nd, at Yoshi's? Yep. Yoshi's. You're at OSA, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Come on, you say who you are. Tell us about what you're doing.
Okay, for sure. I'm playing March 2nd at San Jose Jazz, May 2nd at Yochi's. But next Saturday is San Jose Jazz at 7 p.m. and the tickets are $10. But yeah, my name is Ayo Brame and I'm a junior at Oakland School for the Arts. I'm 16 years old.
Yes. Dad is, it's still a few tickets left. Dad is over here giving the coaching. That's good. Hey, don't we all wish our parents would show up on the side and videotape and hand out our cards and get a coaching? I hope you appreciate Pops, because that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful day. Woo. It's good to be at East Bay, I'm going to tell you what. Okay, so I want to start because, you know, when you start naming names, you always forget some people. So Black History Month also has some music that was off the chain. We had Bluma and Vanessa Nguyen. We had the Fat Love Band. Queen Michelle was here. We did a lot. And our brother, Greg Hodge, gave us the libation. He's running for Alameda County Supervisor in District 5. We don't promote anyone, but since he was here, we're going to say that we glad our brother was here and we glad he's running. Chris was here doing alchemy and music, and I just didn't want to leave anybody out because it was amazing. All right. And let's see, I had something else I wanted to talk about that was amazing. Oh, next month on March 24th, Reverend Deborah will be back with us. And yes. And for the whole month, we'll be reading letters from her, The Sacred Yes. So the Sacred Yes is in the bookstore. If you don't have it yet, we'll be reading these. It's an interesting book because it's not really like a read all the way through book. It's one of those open it to the page and see what Spirit gives you type of book. So you should get that because Spirit has gifts that come through Reverend Deborah, and we know that, yeah? All right. So this month, we have been doing in celebration of Black History Month, The 4 Pivots. This is a book by our brother, Dr. Shawn Ginwright, and it has been incredible. And what I discovered in doing the 4 pivots, it is that it is not a book of the month. It is a book of the year. We are going to be working with this and working with it, so if you haven't had a chance to catch up, make sure you get the book, because all year these are going to be some of the principles that we're going to be operating from, and we're going to deepen our understanding and deepen our practice of this work, because it's one thing to read about it, it's another thing to what? Be about it. Y'all know how I feel about these things. So the 4 pivots are from lens to mirror, which we did week 1, from transaction to transformation, week 2. Pivot number 3 was problem to possibility. We did that last week. And this week is from hustle to flow. Now, I need to tell you that I'm so grateful for music and for prayer and for this community, because for the last couple of days, my friends will tell you, I've been dreading this one a little bit. Because when you're in ministerial school, generally they tell you not to come up here and talk about yourself, and you all know I don't believe in that, because I come from Ask Me How I Know. Reverend Eloise Oliver is in the house. So, but one of the expressions that they say is, don't come up here and bleed on the pulpit. And what they mean by that is, don't come to the community bringing your unhealed stuff. So one of the things that I have a little bit of a reputation for is being busy. And from hustle to flow is a lot about that culture of frenzy. So I sort of felt like, well, I'm always talking about don't talk about it, be about it. Should I even be talking about it? But I'm also talking about our growth and closing the gap between the pews and the pulpit. So I just need you to know this is my opportunity, my challenge, and we're going to work it out together, yes? Yes. Okay, good. So I'm going to start with a piece that, if I can find it here, let's see, we're going to go like this. I'm going to start with the piece that Dr. Ginwright gives us as a quote from Thomas Merton. And he talks about the innate violence that we experience. And this is what he says. There is a pervasive form of contemporary violence to which the idealist most easily succumbs: activism and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form, of its innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything, is to succumb to violence. The frenzy of our activism neutralizes our work for peace. It destroys our own inner capacity for peace. It destroys the fruitfulness of our own work because it kills the root of inner wisdom, which makes work fruitful. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some work today. You might as well get to the gym, because you're going to need your spiritual muscle for this pivot right here. Because what he talks about is the habit of celebrating over work. This is the idea of frenzy, is the way that we keep coming back over and over to this innate violence against ourselves. Frenzy, he says, is the desperate state of constant, unfocused effort and random behavior that consistently fails to produce desired results. Now, what you think is that because you're doing a lot, you're doing something. But what he's saying is that's not even your best, because it's not coming from your innate wisdom. It's coming from the pressure of the society to do more. And that is actually a capitalist culture idea. Oh, we don't like capitalism, but we do like busy. But that's where it comes from. The idea that our value is in our productivity. Our value is in how much we do, the volume. It's about the quantity, not the quality. And what Thomas Merton is saying is slow down. Because you're doing violence to yourself, thinking that you're helping other people. And I say all the time, how do you know whether it's yours to do? It's how you feel after you do it. Because if what you feel after you do it is depleted, it wasn't yours to do. Or at least not by yourself. Well, ain't nobody gonna take care of mama if I don't take care of her. They're not gonna do it the way I do it. They don't do the laundry the way I do it, the dishes the way I do it. They don't cook the way they do. Maybe it doesn't have to be done the way you do it. Because the way you do it is with an attitude. The way you do it is tired. The way you do it is overwhelmed. The way you do it is ain't nobody doing this but me. And that is as toxic as the other way. Do you understand? And not only is it toxic to the people that you're saying can't do it, right? It's toxic to mama, and it's toxic to you. That's not generosity. That's not grace. That tired, that overwork, it's not God's desire for you. It's not your godliness. It's not your highest and best. Now, I know that we do have a society, we are living in this capitalist culture. We have not dismantled it yet. And so the way that it works to have a decent wage in California that can pay for your living, your housing, often feels like 2-3 jobs. And forget about if you have children to take care of or children and parents to take care of. This is how we get into the hustle. But don't believe it's good. That's the thing. We have to constantly be looking at this like, how do we deconstruct it? I remember a few years back, probably about 7-8 years back, maybe longer, my mom wanted to move in with me. I was like, I don't really think that's a good idea. And we were both in a state of financial transition, and she hit me right where she knew to hit me. She goes, well, you know, other communities of color live together, and that's how they build wealth. She knew right where to get me, didn't she? Build wealth, indigenous practice, being together. And so what that meant was we were going to have to work some things out. And we did. And it was not always easy, but it was good for us to remember our strength is when we come together. I remember talking to Reverend E one time, and she said, the problem with you young girls, I was a little younger, but I was not a girl, is that you want to do everything. I believe what she said was, I didn't cook in my house till you were how old, Reverend E? She said her grandmother cooked, right? And she went out and worked. That there was a division of labor, that people did this part and this person took care of the children and this person cooked. And see, what we've been taught by capitalism is that we have to do it all. Nobody can do it all. And even if you can do it all, you can't do it all well. I know. You think you got it. But what is it costing us? What is it costing us in the quality of how we relate to our partner, in the quality of how we relate to our families, to our children, but most of all in the quality of how we relate to ourselves? Do you understand? This frenzy, this desperate activity is not as effective as anything else we want to accomplish from a place of rootedness, of groundedness. And it's also not just the way capitalism worked, but the way racism worked, right? Because what we said was people of color were commodities. What they represented was labor, 400 years of free labor in black folks' case, to be sure. But also in Latinx folks' case, also in Asian folks' case, people were put to work because their value, they were told, was in labor. We talked about the Protestant work ethic. I was talking to an Uber driver the other day who was talking about America being the greatest country in the world because all you had to do was work hard to succeed. And I said, well, let's unpack that. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Because I happen to know a whole bunch of hardworking people who haven't economically succeeded. And I happen to have the analysis to understand that capitalism is built on the idea that you have to work really hard so I get rich. Really, really hard. And it requires a level of unemployment, because if we have enough people unemployed, then you'll work for nothing. Oh, it's insidious. It's insidious, the way that it operates in our mind. It allows us to believe that our value is in how much we work, how hard we work. And then on top of that, they have the nerve to call us, the hardest working people, lazy. If you poor, if you a person of color, how dare you talk about lazy black folks after 400 years of building the Industrial Revolution on the backs of our ancestors so that we couldn't build the institutional, generational wealth that allowed us to kick back and retire and hire us, you. I mean, you know. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. I don't think that was on the notes. I think it was. But that inequality, it doesn't just come up historically, it comes up today. Dr. Ginwright writes about something he called rest inequality. He talks about sleep inequality. And in our children as young as 8, they're already starting to show dysfunction around rest, around sleep, right? We got 24-hour television. We got video games 24 hours a day. And then there's the phone. Now, you thought I was going to talk about them. Let's see what he has to say about the phone. I was like, ooh, Shawn, why you come after me like that? Ariana Huffington calls attention to what she calls a sleep crisis in her book, The Sleep Revolution. What she says is the unquestioning belief that work should always have the top claim on our time has been a costly one. And it has gotten worse as technology has allowed a growing number of us to carry our work with us in our pockets and purses in the form of phones wherever we go. And then Shawn asked the question, and I'll ask it to you. How many minutes out of every day do you have to literally get up and walk to your phone? Just think about it to yourself. How many minutes out of every day do you literally have to get up and walk to your phone? And he says, if you are like me and millions of other people, probably 0 minutes. Because our phones are always with us or next to our beds with work, tasks, and reminders comfortably waiting for us to obey. The phone becomes like a third attached to our bodies, and when it's missing, it aches. Ouch. I saw a lot of hurt faces in here, a lot of wincing, a lot of woo. And I am the worst offender. I think mine is in my bed most of the time, falling or rolling over. And then one of the things that we know to do for your well-being health is turn off your notifications. You ever been with somebody and their phone is buzzing and binging every 5 seconds? Buzz, bing, buzz, bing, buzz, bing. How can you live like that with something always telling you, come back to me, I got something I want to tell you. Those of you who know the Lord of the Rings, we could call it the precious. My precious, come back to me. I mean, we laugh about it, but what if we did an experiment? Don't ask us to do that, Reverend Dereca. I mean, I said we, because I did tell you this is my opportunity for growth area. But how about this? How about just set it down at night where you would have to get up and walk to it? Look, if you shivered when I said it, that's how you know it's yours to do. Just where you have to just get up to get it. I mean, I didn't ask you to turn the ringer off. But you might want to consider that because honestly, the blue lights from the phones, from the screens, from the television, always on, it actually disturbs our sleep. And when I'm talking about our sleep, I'm talking to you from a person who has carried the label of chronic insomniac for decades. And what we know about that is it negatively impacts all kinds of outcomes in our well-being. Right? Our mental health, our dementia, our bodies, our stress, our mind actually deteriorates from staying up so much. So how can we be out here talking about how productive and effective we are when we are practicing innate violence against our bodies, against our minds? We have to let go. And when it comes to social justice, it's even more of a martyr culture. How can we fight, to Kev's point? We got to be soldiers in the struggle, right? Dr. G points out the fact that that's what he always talks about is she a soldier for the struggle. She down for the movement, right? But he also invites us to shift some of that language and to think about what it means. He even called out one of our favorites, Sweet Honey in the Rock. What do they say? We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Woo. Now, I understand the intention here. We're going to pass that on. We're going to all move together. We're going to keep working until justice is accomplished, but cannot rest? We have to rest if we believe in freedom. We have to rest because you cannot liberate anyone from your own jail. I mean, I know it's getting rough in here, but I'm just trying to tell the truth. We went, Carol and I and a couple other folks went to see Reverend Michael Beckwith yesterday. He was in town. And he gave an example of this frenzy, and he talked about an experience that he had where he was riding his bike with a group of people, and he was feeling kind of he said, I wasn't competing, but I didn't want to be in the back. Right? And he was riding his bike, and he was in the front. He couldn't make it to the front. And he kept riding and riding. He said he was pedaling hard as he could. He said, I used to be in really great shape. Then he said, I still am, and he kicked his foot all the way up in the air. And I was like, all right, I'm going to keep mine right here, okay? But he said when he got back, he discovered that the whole time his brakes were on. That's how we go through life sometimes. Just pedaling and pedaling on the treadmill of life, wondering why we can't get anywhere because the emotional, spiritual brakes are on. The spiritual brakes are on. It's not yours to do, but you keep trying. In the Big Leap, they say this is the zone of incompetence, the zone of competence, even the zone of excellence, but it's not your zone of genius if you got to work that hard. Because when you're in the flow, and he talks about flow as the state of consistent focus and effortless activity that consistently produces the desired results. This is what the Big Leap is about, is getting into the flow of your zone of genius. You understand? We've been talking about that, and what it looks like is you just lose track of time because it's the thing that you love to do. I can tell you that there are mornings where I'm like tired and I don't even really feel like going to church. Reverend E, no. I call her, she called me. I'm like, Reverend E, you coming? Oh, baby, I'm blah, 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 blah. I said, but you know what's going to happen when you get here? You're going to feel better. That's how you get to 92. You know where your flow is. And just what if we considered the possibility that our whole life should be flow? The next book after The Big Leap is called The Joy of Genius, and it's the idea that we spend as much time as possible in that flow space in our lives, right? And some people say, do what you love and the money will follow. It's scary. It's risky to step out there and to believe that money is going to come. And some folks are like, I'm doing what I love, Reverend Dereca, and I haven't been able to make the money that I want to make. But sometimes it's because the goal that we have of the money that we want to make is a capitalist goal in the first place. We don't want to have enough. We want to have excess. Most of what we have in this country, in this community, is excess. We want a lot more than we actually need. I've told you that I took kids from McClimers in West Oakland. We went to Ghana and we went to Mali and we visited the people in the desert, the Tuareg people. And the kids, when they came back, they said, you know, they have so much less than we do, but they're so much happier. Do you understand? A lot of what we think we need is excess. And if we shift the goal of what we have to produce when we're in the flow, and we stop making it about money and things and possessions and how we look and what we drive and all of that, perhaps happiness has nothing to do with money. Because we all know a whole bunch of people who have a whole lot of it and a whole lot of misery. So that idea, that work ethic idea that if we work hard enough, we'll get enough money, and if we get enough money, we'll be happy. Not only we'll be happy, the work ethic thing is we'll be good. I'll be good if I work hard and I have a lot of money. It's the example that people put in front of us. These are good people because they're hardworking. I read a book about 20 years ago called The 4-Hour Work Week. Revolutionized my thinking, changed my life. The whole goal was different. It was not about working hard. It was about being in the flow, about working smart. And so I'm really inspired by this book and moving us out of the martyr culture. The other thing that he talks about is really thinking about grace and accountability in the social justice movement. Right? So last week was the Centers for Spiritual Living National Convention in South Carolina. It was absolutely an amazing thing to be with the ministers and colleagues. It was for ministers, it was for practitioners, it was for lay people. So I promise you the next time they have one, it's every 2 years, we going in force because the next one is in Reno. So roll out, you know what I'm saying? It's the East Bay Caravan. But what I want to report to you, because it was, let's see, Lynn Williams went, D. Jacqueline Edwards Reverend D. Jacqueline is always there, Lee Valentine was there, Maud went, I went, and East Bay was in the house, right? And of course, the legend of Reverend E is always in the building. We had a lot of the folks who came to the installation were there, Reverend Kevin, Reverend Michelle, a lot of folks. And I need to tell you, there in Charleston, South Carolina, it was the blackest conference anybody ever saw. I mean, it was so many black ministers in there. There used to be a time, the last time I went to the convention was 10 years ago. And there used to be a time at the convention that we would get the black folks and really all the people of color, and we'd be like, whose room we gonna meet in? We needed a whole conference room. We didn't even have time to meet everybody. And it was incredible. But not only that, the program, there were nights where we had, every speaker was black. And I just need to tell you, 10 years ago at CSL, and I don't even want to talk about what Reverend E had to go through. But all those years ago, we were integrating the UCORS, United Church of Religious Science, and the Religious Science International. We had an integration conference, that's what it was called, and there were no people of color on the program 10 years ago when I was in ministerial school. And so we had written letters, and now here I am, just like I came out of a time machine. and everybody is black on the program. Then we had the Gullah Geechee choir. Do you understand? We had religious sciences in there crying and praying to Jesus, talking about how great thou art. Reverend E, you would have loved it. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, people was having a Holy Ghost. It was Pentecostal at CSL. It was really beautiful. And then when Dr. Shawn Ginwright spoke, our own Jennifer Johns came out, and she prayed and sang him in. Do you understand what I'm talking about? She's coming next month. She'll be in town from Los Angeles. She'll be singing here. It was a good time. So I was blessed coming out of the time machine to have an opportunity to speak. And so here, that's what I talked about. Just how far as an organization we had come. We made a statement about Black Lives Matter. And when I was in ministerial school, Reverend Margaret Storrs told me, we don't do politics in church. And I told her, well, if we didn't do politics in church, me and you wouldn't be in the same room together as ministers. Because we love Season for Peace and Nonviolence and talking about Dr. King and Gandhi, but that's as political as you're going to get, baby. So here we were making these political statements. So it was my turn to come up, and I asked people. So let me talk to you about servant leadership, because a lot of us want to lead. Right? And Kev asked about whether our leaders were worthy. What makes us, not just me, but all of us worthy leaders is that we're servants of the people. Right? So I asked the people at the convention, what needs to be said? What needs to be talked about? And I went on and I talked to people and Reverend Dr. Petra Weldis, who is the senior minister at CSL Dallas, she told me, don't tell people what not to do. Cast a vision, right? And other people said to me, this thing that you're talking about, how far we've come, let's talk about that. So I got up and I talked about how far we come, and my catchphrase was, look at us now. And everybody loved that. It became the catchphrase of the whole convention, and I was all, proud, and people watched it online, and they're like, oh, Rev, you tore it up. And we can get into that, right? Our ego space. I felt good about what I did, and it's okay to feel good about what you did. But I actually had an assignment that I was given for my talk. And the assignment was to give 3 concrete things that people could do around sacred activism. I did not do that assignment. I big up everybody. We were all happy about, how far we had come. And then I talked about Gaza, which, nobody was talking about, but y'all know that's who I am, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I came to do, is to push the left margin. I talked about being allies to trans folks, and everybody was like, okay, all right, this is what we're doing. That's good. I talked about the need to heal from racism, and that was all good. But what I did not give was the concrete strategies. And because I do diversity and inclusion work in the world, I have some concrete strategies, but, I ran out of time, and I thought what was most important was that I called people out. We need to be doing something about Gaza. We need to be doing something. If racism is a disease and we could cure cancer, then we ought to be able to cure racism. Sometimes we do it for the claps, right? We got the little catchphrases, we do it for the claps. But something happened the next night at the convention. Someone, I don't want to go into all the details, they committed a microaggression. Someone white committed a microaggression, and they got called on it in front of everybody in the room. And it was a very awkward moment. A microaggression? A microaggression is an unintended slight or insult to someone that is based on their group identity. Thank you for asking that. And so it was an awkward moment, and somebody over here, when I said a microaggression and a person got called out, somebody said, thank you. Because we do. We need to, there's a thing called oops and ouch. And when somebody does something, and it happened to me at the convention too, you can say, ouch. Hey, that didn't feel good to me. Somebody had passed over somebody in the line waiting to speak. got up on the stage and took their turn when a woman of color had been waiting to speak. And I understood the intention of the person who got on the stage. They were trying to support a trans woman who was on the stage, and it was all complicated. These situations are often complicated because the definition of a microaggression is that it's unintended, right? But what happened in an organization where the whole organization has been reading the 4 pivots for like 2 years was it was just left open and unhealed. The person committed the microaggression, the person called it out, and then it was just awkward, right? And what we have an opportunity to do is to actualize these 4 pivots, not if, but when those things happen in our community. Did you hear what I said? Not if, but when they happen, because if you are in close quarters with anybody, these things are going to happen. Unintended insults are going to happen. That's going to happen when you're in community. If you have a partner, you know unintended insults is a thing. That's what happens when you're close to people. So what was missing in the convention, I talked to someone, I haven't gotten his permission to talk in detail about it yet, but someone who is beloved in our community, a white man, said, afterwards, I came up and hugged him, and we greeted each other, and he said, I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do now. And I think, Lynn, you inspired this. Is like the way you do one thing, Reverend E says, the way you do everything. And this came up here in our community, and it came up again in the convention, and it touched my heart. I couldn't sleep. That you could see he was so hurt and didn't know what to do. He was like, okay, yeah, I'm down. I want to heal racism. I want to end this. I don't want to be, cis, white, het, oppressive, toxic masculinity, internalized oppression. Like, he was like, I don't want to be that. But I don't know what to do. And a lot of us who are marginalized folks are like, that's not my job to educate you. Read a book. Look online. Do your work. Do your work is a real thing that people should do. And for those of us who have been doing our work so that we're healed enough to be able to create spaces where we can bring oneness into fruition, some of us, it's okay. You need to take care of yourself. Ain't nobody asking you to go take care of white people, straight people, cis people, rich people. I'm not asking you to do that. But if you happen to be like me, an educator, a person with an open heart that wants to do this work, then we need to take a step forward. We need to raise our hands and say, hey, I can talk to you about that. We need to create some models right here on the stages where we can come up with, in our communities publicly, the strategies we're going to use when these things happen. Now, I need to tell you, this is something I'm still working out right here in the pulpit, but that's what we're here to do. So I had this funny idea that maybe what we would do is put into action the 4 pivots. The whole organization, he was Hero of the Year last year. He's on the cover of the magazine's keynote, but it still didn't occur to us how to make these principles actionable. Actually, we have a video that he sent us just to let us know. Brett, you got the video? It's coming. So Shawn and I spent a lot of time together talking about how to use this work, and he just wanted to send a little message to us. And then I'll talk about how we put this stuff in practice.
Hey, everybody. This is Shawn Ginwright. I am just so pleased and so honored and so humbled that you are reading and practicing the 4 pivots. It's a lot easier to write the book than it is to actually practice the principles. And you are blessed, and I am blessed, to have in your leadership the amazing and extraordinary Dereca Blackmon, to really allow for us to allow those lessons to sink in and allow those lessons in the 4 pivots to really improve our lives and increase our capacity to actually create justice in the world. So I just wanted to say hello, and I just came back from the CSL convention. It was extraordinary and amazing, and I really hope that you enjoyed the book and that you really, really continue to practice those pivots. All right, guys, take care. Peace.
When Shawn spoke at the convention, I asked him the next day, I said, Shawn, what is it that has been most meaningful to you in these years that you've been promoting the book? What have been the big moments? He talked about talking to the NSA and talking to the superintendent's conference, but he said one of the biggest ones was speaking at the CSL convention. And he said, I don't really know why, because that's my brother. I told him, I said, I know why. I said, because you got the opportunity to be unapologetically spiritual. Because you got the opportunity to bring love into the conversation, because Jen Johns came on the stage and prayed you into your talk. This is who we have the opportunity to be, the healed place where racism gets healed, not just for white folks, but for people of color. Do you understand? We need to do some healing work if we're going to do some justice work, right? No peace, no justice. Last night, my daughter and I were at the Oscar Grant Foundation Award. We both were given awards by Wanda Johnson. I got up there, I was tongue-tied. I didn't even know what to say. Because what do you say about justice to someone who has sacrificed as much as she has? You can't do platitudes. So what Reverend Wanda talked about, and what I talked about, and what every speaker up there talked about was love and grace. This is what we have to do. This is the business that we have to be about. So I'm going to close with these 4 pivots and how we use them. Pivot 1, lens to mirror. We have to make healing our goal. That needs to be the goal when we're talking about justice, is talking about healing and unapologetic forgiveness. We need to do healing workshops. I know that's not the first thing you want to do, but that's what we need to do. We got to heal from the shame of how racism impacts us. We're hurt, and hurt people, right? And we have to do the work when we're able to of healing workshops for folks who are perpetuating systemic racism. We have to move from transaction to transformation. That's pivot 2. So in order to do that work, we have to actually spend time together. Transaction means, oh, okay, I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do that for you. But what Chris does with Faith in Action is they have the one-on-one meeting. Because this thing is not healed from a protest or a podium. It's healed from the one-on-one interaction. It's healed from the communal interaction. Now, it's changed from the protest. Don't let anybody tell you that I'm against the protest. Sorry, Reverend E. I'm all for anger when it's a fire that lights up people's consciousness, but it's not enough. It's necessary but insufficient. The goal has to be healing. The process has to be the one-on-one, the communal conversation of care. We have to move from problem to possibility. What Reverend Petra told me was, don't just tell them what not to do. We have to talk about our vision. We have to talk about a world that works for everyone. We have to talk about black children and white children holding hands, not just getting off the back of the bus. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not about a transaction. It's about a vision. We have to see what justice is and talk about what it is for each and every one of us, for us as a community. If we're going to get there, we have to know where we're going. And lastly, when he talked about hustle and flow, he talked about shifting our language. We love to celebrate hustle. How you been? Oh, you know I'm out here hustling. How you been? Woo, you know I'm working. I had 2 jobs. I worked 12 hours yesterday. You talk to me. You ask Reverend Dereca, how you doing? Oh, you know, busy, but loving it. I'm so busy, you know, I got so much going on. I had the meeting this day that I talked about yesterday. I had this, I had that, I had this, and I had that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new conversation. So when somebody starts bragging to you about overwork, here's what I want you to tell them. How's that working out for you? Well, I did this, and I did that, and I'm doing this, and I'm so tired, and I'm doing that. Is that a good thing? We're not going to wear frenzy and hustle as a badge of honor anymore, starting with me. Check me if that's what I'm telling you. I mean, where's Grantland? Grantland told me when I saw you last week, I prayed for you. You just look so tired. We have to change it from right here, right in this community. And the last thing he talked about was grace. And I want to read you the definition, because if we're going to have this accountability, then we need to have grace. Here's what he said. For the most part, we progressives are really good at accountability, but not so good about grace. We know how to hold others accountable when they intentionally inflict harm and suffering on the communities we care about. We also know how to hold ourselves accountable when members of our own group fall short of our ideals for justice. Accountability is a necessary requirement for justice, and it allows us to force people, institutions, and laws to respond in ways that meet the needs of the collective good. But grace, on the other hand, is entirely different, and we have to work harder to practice it. Grace is giving ourselves and others undeserved permission to be human. Grace is something we give ourselves and others when it's not deserved. Grace is a reckoning with mercy, and time after time, I've learned that it's the only way through the wilderness toward justice. We need to be human with each other, and I need others to see me as human. This is the only way that our movements for justice will evolve, when we collectively turn inward to heal our hearts and soothe our souls. In our journey to create a more just world, all of us must learn to be more human and lean into the courage to create a world based in love and justice. Now let's go into the wild together without fear, knowing that collectively we are destined to find that there was never a wilderness at all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if you bring the prayer box, and while that's coming, I want you to know that I've already started partnering with ministers in our movement, Reverend Elisha down at UC Santa Cruz, Reverend Sunshine Day down at Vida Center in Long Beach. Just ask everybody to pause. We're about to pray. So just you'll bring the treatment box. We've been getting into the habit of moving immediately when the talk is over, and while I appreciate that you enjoyed that part, I'd like you to be here for prayer and gracious giving and the benediction and all those things. Thank you, Kawaza. So just join me as we turn within. Practitioners are standing there available for prayer after service, and it's just our time to say thank you, God. Say it with me. Thank you, God. Thank you for everything that you have done to reveal yourself to us as the joy, as the grace, as the love, as the flow that all of us are moving in. This flow is ours to have right now. We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait until the conditions in the society change. We don't have to undo capitalism. We don't have to get a new job, a new partner, new kids. We just have to have a new relationship with ourselves. And I just declare right now that that new relationship starts today, that we let go of the innate violence of busyness, that we embrace the flow that allows ease and grace to come into our lives and allows us to let go of anything that doesn't serve, let go of the idea that we're only good because we produce, and just be with each other. Be with each other in transformation. Be with each other in possibility, and stop being in the problem. Turn away from the lens on everybody else's speck in their eye, and let's turn into the mirror and look at the log in our own. Let's heal the healers and heal ourselves. Let's be willing to create a space. I declare that that's what happened today. We moved our minds and moved our whole community into a willingness to be a healing force for good. We know that this thing that is racism, sexism, homophobia, ableism, transphobia, all of those things are nothing to God. And so we are the place where God shows up. We are the place where the miracle of possibility of common unity, of community is already made manifest. Look at us. Look at us now, right now, already, how beautiful we are. And so we hold our light. We take it from under a bushel and we hold our light up to the world and say it can be done. We know because we're doing it. It can be done. I know because my life is a testimony. It can be done because I know that God does not call the qualified. God qualifies the called, and all of us are called. We're all called to healing first and foremost of ourselves, but we're healing our families. We're healing our schools. We're healing these prisons that are doing nothing but making our painful society more painful. Breeding the violence we all complain about, but what else do you expect people to do but steal when you throw them away and lock them up? And then you send them back out in the world unable to get a job, locked out of the economy. We're healing it. We're healing it. We're looking at it differently. There's no throwaway people. There's no throwaway people. We heal ourselves so that we can be a healing place for our community. I'm so thankful for this teaching. I'm so thankful for Reverend Eloise Oliver, who created a foundation for a space for us to all love one another as we love ourselves. For us to see that even though there's a beauty in our differences, there's a magnificent sense in our oneness. And so I just released this word to the perfect activity of the divine law, because its desire, its real purpose is to manifest that vision that we hold for justice, for freedom, for love. That's who we are. That's what we're doing here. And I just invite you to anchor this in your consciousness by joining me in saying Ashe, Amen, and so it is. If you are in desire of prayer, please come up to the front. Practitioners will take you in the back and pray with you. Please don't leave here with something you don't want to have, because there are people here ready to know the truth for you. And now it's our time for gracious giving. We like to celebrate gracious giving here. There are lots of ways you can give. There's actually a kiosk in the back where you can give. You can do it online, by text, by PayPal, by Zelle, in the mail. We try to make it easy. Not just for you to give to our programs, our youth and family, our beautification, all the things, the community outreach that folks do in the world, but to give to your own flow. Money has a flow to it also. And so we invite you to be in that flow, to let go of the constricted idea that money comes from hustle. Money comes from flow. Let's be in it. All right, I'm going to turn it to Kev Choice Ensemble, and I'll see you in the back.
Voices in my head, I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light, 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 I am light.
So we give thanks. We give thanks for the gift, the giver, and the divine intention of the flow. I'm blessing the offering, knowing that it goes forward and multiplies, supporting our community and beyond. And with that, I give thanks. And so it is. So I invite you all to stand. Connect with somebody just across the aisle. Connect with love and light. Knowing that we leave this place prayed up, lifted up, and loved. Kev will close us out with our closing song. So affirm with me, I am blessed all the time. I take my blessings into the world, blessing others. And so it is.